Howdy folks, I'm a zany Zephyr, zapping zesty Xanders.
I'm Amber.
And here's some more Xanders that haven't been zapped and they're very angry about it. They're not angry about not being zapped, they're angry that I've zapped the other Xanders.
What are Xanders?
They're a type of fish.
Ah.
Perfect for Zephyrs to zap. Alright folks, our first letter on this Friday afternoon, morning, whenever you're watching this Reddit, is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Babysitting for My Ex-Husband's Kids? I'll account for obvious reasons. I'm a 30-year-old female and my ex-husband is a 32-year-old male, and I have 2 children, a 4-year-old male and a 2-year-old female. We have been divorced for just about 6 months, and he is now expecting a baby with his new girlfriend. I've admittedly not over him. We were together for 10 years, my entire adulthood. It was a messy split. I'm still bitter and hurt about it, and he seems to have completely moved on somehow. When we had our oldest, neither of us wanted him in daycare. No judgment. We just didn't feel comfortable, so I stayed home and eventually started my own business that allows me to work 99% remotely. My parents are also local and retired, and they help me out as much as they can. This arrangement works well for me, and I get to spend more time with both of my kids. Now, the ex's girlfriend is 5 months pregnant, and they got in a huge fight because she asked him to tour our daycares, and he said absolutely not. He wants her to stay home with the baby. None of his kids are going to go into daycare. Admittedly, the ones here are pretty terrible. He called me to vent and I listened, and then he dropped the bomb. He asked if I would be willing to take care of their baby since I'm home with our 2 and get help from my parents. And when I have to take the kids to the office, I can because I own it. He mentioned that I know how he feels about his kids in one of these daycares, and I sort of lost it on him. I wonder why. It was a year and a half of walled up anger and hurt, and I said some nasty things that I've since apologized for. Fast forward to 3 days later, his new girlfriend pulled me to the side when I dropped off my kids to their house and asked why I was so ugly about it, and why I thought that my kids were better than hers, and why her baby doesn't deserve the same things that mine get. I never said that, but apologized if anything I said came off like that. Told her that I'm happy for them. I'm not, but pleasantries. But was certainly not going to babysit her kid. She's a nurse, so I can get why she can't work from home and doesn't want to give up her career, but they should have thought about that. I left before it blew up again, but X called me about 2 hours later and asked me to come and get the kids because he and his new girlfriend were fighting and he didn't want them around it. I picked them up, of course, and X texted me on the drive home and asked again if I would babysit them for $200 a week. I said no, and he called me bitter and said that I'm being a jerk because I'm hurt. I don't see why at all. I reiterated that the request is absurd and I would not be talking about it anymore. This was yesterday, and all day today the new girlfriend has been texting me and having her friends and family review bomb my business. I'm not worried about it. My clients know my work. Ex-husband hasn't said anything else, but has been shorter with me in our conversations about kids. So, am I the jerk for refusing to keep my ex-husband's new baby? Edit/update. Thank you all for the support in the comments. I probably can't reply to all the questions, but I will try to answer some as I come across them while I have some free time. A few of the repeat things that I've seen addressed below. It looks like Google has flagged the influx of reviews for spam, and I did call my lawyer to see what she recommends going forward. Yes, my ex was cheating with his girlfriend for some time before we divorced. I don't know how long exactly, and I don't think I want to know. I'm also a licensed professional, so going against her nursing license is a surefire way to make this worse. Lawyer will advise on how to proceed. I don't mind if this is shared on social media, figured that comes with posting here. Secondly, and probably final update for now, Google is removing the reviews. My ex and their family have all the same last name, so it was pretty easy to see the reviews weren't genuine. The ones from her friends with different names were removed too because again, it was poorly executed at best. Ex apologized for her behavior and apparently he is taking some time away. And she thought that he was with me. All of the drama. I have no idea where he went after he left my house Tuesday night and when the kids were in bed. He certainly is not staying here. We only have spoken to confirm pickup and swim lessons today. My parents had already planned to have the kids this weekend. X has a graduation to go to, and I'm going to the beach with some friends. So I don't think I have to worry about where they're going since X is effectively homeless right now. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. And it wouldn't matter if you'd had the most amicable split in the world. You are not obligated to watch someone else's kids.
Yeah.
But especially your cheating ex. Yeah, no, you really do not have to watch his soon-to-be new kid.
Yeah, this is completely entitled. I can't believe that they're even asking this of you. Like, this is just... Where do they even get off asking this? That was just completely uncalled for.
Well, and it seems like at first they probably expected OP to babysit for free.
Free.
And then they're like throwing a pittance of, oh, we'll pay you $200 a week. It's like, that's like $5 an hour if that's 40 hours a week. Like,
Yeah.
that's a pittance. That's not reasonable for a professional doing professional work.
Yeah, not to mention they're both sound like they're employed, so they could probably afford a higher wage anyways. And it's really unfortunate that the ex is trying to take advantage of her, I think, emotional state still, because it sounds like she is hung up on him, and he probably knows to some degree that she is, and this is really just not a good situation.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if he really doesn't want his kids in daycare, he can stay home with the new kid.
Why doesn't he stay home with the kids? And I think it's really ridiculous that they went and review bombed OP.
That's not a mature way to handle this, and there is absolutely no reason. Like, why is she going to OP of all people? Like, it just seems like such bad planning to be like, oh yeah, I know I was cheating with your husband when you were married, but like, you know, you totally owe me because our kids are half siblings, so like, logic.
Well, and then her whole, my kid deserves just as much whatever as your kids do.
And it's like, but your kid isn't OP's kid. Like, of course they're not entitled to OP's love and care because they're not OP's kid.
Yeah, and then the constant reminder of the affair with the child there at her daycare, that can't make for anything less than a hostile work environment. So, yeah, OP, I don't think that you're the jerk at all. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. Violu says, please do not let that man stay in your house. Keep putting yourself first. And OP replies, absolutely not. He'll probably go to his dad's house or something. Sokodal says, not the jerk. Your ex's new kid isn't your responsibility. Not only that, but I find it strange that if you did babysit your ex's child, that he had with his new girlfriend. So not only is it morally not your responsibility, but it's socially, I would find that really weird. Clearly not the jerk. Also, I don't know if you have any custody agreements in place, but I would look into getting one. He called me 2 hours later to get the kids is a major red flag. And OP replies, we have a 60-40 custody. I got the majority because he works weird hours and it just made sense. He's a great dad, honestly. The kids think that he's Superman and I want to preserve that. We always have had the agreement not to do big fights in front of the kids, and he's upheld that in this new relationship, so I can respect that to an extent. He did come over to do a movie night and bedtime at my house with them the same night. We co-parent just fine. It's just when the kids are off doing something and we get to talking, it turns into something else and someone gets their feelings involved. It's messy, but I trust him to do right by our kids. Maybe I'm naive. And I mean, at least they're not trying to alienate each other or anything like that. It does sound like this is at least like a amicable to some degree. They're at least able to be on friendly terms when it comes to the kids. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for being furious with my husband after he gave my personal cell phone to his boss? For context, I'm a 31-year-old female and I work in VC investing. My husband, R, works in fashion art based on startup run by S, and he directly reports to S, and VC, I believe, is venture capitalism. S wants her startup to be funded by my company. It will never happen. She found out that R and I are married and asked him for my personal cell as I had not responded to her emails. R gave it to her without asking me. I was bombarded with calls from her. I had blocked her number. I am furious with R because he knows that I do not like this woman, and he knows I do not mix my personal and business life. I support his career, but I will not make my juniors work extra seconds to soothe his boss's ego trip. I told him what he did was disrespectful, and I was not happy with him. He should never have given his boss my personal number. I do not get angry or even annoyed easily. R has been mopey. He said that having me mad at him was worse and more hurtful because I never got mad, especially at him. Am I the jerk? Edit. We select from thousands upon thousands of startups and fund hundreds. We will not fund her startup, as our team funds software-based startups, not fashion startups. As a professional courtesy, my admin sends all of them clear guide on how our funds are selected for startups. I will not give her or any unsolicited email personal attention, as it encourages them to continue emailing me. My juniors and admin have a lot of work on their plate without me adding to the burden. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Definitely husband here overstepped. I think if you do not know would that beyond a shadow of a doubt that your partner would not mind their phone number being given to someone, do not give it out.
Yeah, I think that's really what the crux is here, is that he should have consulted first before giving out the phone number. And seeing as how this is a venture capitalism funding for software specifically, why would your husband even think that this was the appropriate avenue? And maybe he was hoping that OP would be able to give her ideas of where to go for funding, but she needs to kind of figure that out on her own.
Well, she does, and I think she's trying to use OP's husband's connection as like an in. She thinks she can work it and be like, well, I employ your husband, so you should do what I say.
Yeah.
And that's not a good way to run a business.
No, it isn't. And then the husband acting mopey here. Oh, I feel so hurt because you're never mad at me. Well, then maybe she has a real reason to be mad at you.
Yeah, exactly. Potentially emotional manipulation. If he's like, oh, well, you've hurt me so much worse than I hurt you. Like, that's not okay.
No,
that's not cool.
Not at all. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Diminishing Patience says, not the jerk. Absolutely right. He should never have given your phone number away. This should tell him something about how bad what he did was. And OP replies, I really have never been angry at him before, but this is crossing a line. My admin has already emailed S about our methodology and how her startup isn't suitable. The only reason she's pursuing my team is due to my connection with R. And the Riker maneuver says, not the jerk. Your husband is not only putting his marriage at risk, he's putting his own job at risk. Because now that you have blocked her, it is likely that his boss will take this out on him because she can't get a hold of you. That being said, you might loop in your legal counsel at your company, explain the situation, and say that you may need help dealing with this woman at some point in time. And OP replies, I've already given compliance and legal heads up about S and R. It should not be a problem given that we are investing in a different sector. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not letting my nephew have the car that we were restoring together after he crashed my car? Hello everyone, the title says it all. Until recently, me and my nephew were restoring a car, a Fox Body Mustang, for him to drive once he passed his driving test. However, due to recent events, I no longer want to let him have the car. Please keep in mind that I have paid for the car and the parts. Recently, I went on vacation and left my nephew with a key to my garage so that he could work on the car while I was away. This proved to be a bad decision. I told my nephew that he was free to go around the garage when he wanted while I was away. Well, one night, while away, he decided to take my 1968 Nova that I had recently restored, costing upwards of $50,000 and thousands of man-hours, out of the garage for a joyride around my private land. This ended in disaster, as he went too fast and crashed into a ditch and rolled it, causing a lot of damage to the point that the car is now likely scrap. My nephew is fine, by the way. I didn't discover anything was wrong until I came back from my vacation and opened the garage to get one of my cars out and noticed my wrecked Nova sitting there. He was the only one with a key, and I knew it was him. I tried to call him, but he would not answer his phone. Neither would his dad, my brother, so I went over to his house. When I got to his house, he answered the door and immediately said that my nephew is really sorry for what happened and that he was being a stupid kid. I told him that I was keeping the Mustang unless he paid for my car that he ruined, and I left. Once I got home, I received multiple calls and messages from my brother and his wife saying that I was being unreasonable and that it's not fair to keep his car and that he won't have anything to drive when he gets his license in a few days, and that he was only being a stupid kid. My nephew has still not directly apologized to me, and he just passed an apology through his dad. I am still furious, and I still think that I am going to keep the car or sell it to make it easier to repair the Nova. I also should mention that the Nova has a large amount of sentimental value as it was my father's, and we were restoring it together until he passed away. Everyone in the family knows this, but I'm starting to wonder if this is just clouding my judgment. To answer a few questions. I know it was definitely my nephew as I've checked my security cameras. My nephew and my brother towed the car back to my garage with my brother's truck. It wasn't very far, probably only a mile at max. Unfortunately, the car wasn't insured as I only finished it a few days before going on vacation. I have considered taking them to court, but even if I was successful, they don't have enough money or assets to pay. I have considered reporting it to the police, but I'm on the fence as I don't want to ruin my nephew's future with a criminal record, but I do think that he needs to face consequences of his actions. And to be honest, the value of the Nova may not be $50,000, but that's what's been spent on it. The locks have been changed so he can't get into the garage anymore. Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. What your nephew did is just inexcusable. Like, you don't take someone's car out for a joyride, crash it, and, then just like, oh, ha ha, yeah, I was just being a kid. He knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew it wouldn't have been approved or he would have checked with you. And for your brother and his wife just to be like, oh, he's just a kid. No, he did something illegal. He's lucky you're not pursuing legal action. Like, he doesn't get a car. That seems like a minor punishment, but certainly fair.
Yeah, I have a lot of issues here. If he is getting his license in a few days, I don't think he should.
Yeah.
For something tells me that maybe he's not the most responsible driver and would be a hazard to himself and others on the road. If he went and was racing your car around like that and actually damaged it enough that this happened where it's almost totaled, then that's really a really reckless thing to have done. Next, I hope he went to the hospital. Those old cars, they don't have quite as much give as some of the new cars. Like, the new cars are designed to be squishy and stuff like that. And if he wrecked this car as badly as he did, then he probably needs to get a medical follow-up. I'm surprised that he's not more injured because they're very hard cars and it can cause a lot of damage to have these things happen. So I hope he has been seen by a doctor. There's a lot of issues here. Like Amber said, Grand Theft Auto is not a walk in the park. He deserves a far harsher sentence than not getting a Mustang, right?
In the way that the parents just act like, oh, he's entitled to this. Like, no, he's not entitled to the car. This was something you were paying for with your money.
Yeah.
And the assumption was he wasn't going to go wreck your car. Like, I think that's perfectly fair to be like, well, you can't have the car anymore because now my car is wrecked and I've got to repair or replace it.
Yeah. So yeah, OP, not the jerk at all, and if anything, you're practically a saint here. But the fact that they're like calling about this with the Mustang, you would think that would be an expected consequence of this situation.
One would think,
Yeah.
but they're just like, oh, like, I can see where he gets his entitled attitude from, where he thinks it's fine to just take other people's stuff because, at the end of the day, his parents just act like he's entitled to everyone. And if you teach your kid they're owed the world, they're going to act like it.
Yeah. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Soft Puppy Ears says, are you kidding me? He steals a $50,000 car, drives it without a license, cracks it up, hides in his room, and his dad apologizes for him. The family won't pay it back, and they want to brush it off as some stupid kid mistake. It's pretty clear that you're not going to get anywhere trying to talk sense into your brother, as they clearly don't hold him to any consequences and don't value your stuff. What lesson are they teaching him here? Felonies are okay if they're committed against family. Keep the Mustang, file a police report so you can get insurance covered, or sue them if that's an option if they have money. Obvious, not the jerk. Oh, and that's all. One last point I wanted to cover is that instead of being a responsible individual and approaching OP and saying, I'm really sorry, I destroyed your car, I was going too fast, please forgive me, he has to hide behind his dad.
Well, and his dad even, like, they towed it back into the garage and just left it there, probably hoping OP wouldn't be able to put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, like, they're not going to be able to put 2 and 2 together
like,
here.
No one even gave OP a heads up.
Yeah.
No one was, like, they're all just like, we're just gonna sweep this under the rug and hope no OP doesn't notice somehow.
Yeah. I mean, what were they expecting? They should have really contacted him immediately when that happened. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber's got a joke.
Have you heard about those new corduroy pillows?
Yes, in fact, I have heard about those corduroy pillows. They were made from that corduroy bear that used to be popular in those books.
No.
What was that corduroy bear name? I don't remember.
I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. It wasn't. That's horrifying and devastating.
It is, and you should never say those things.
Yes, I have heard about those new corduroy pillows because I was gifted them by a very special friend, and now I have corduroy pillows on my bed for sure.
I'm not seeing them, and I'm actually sitting on the bed, so... I heard that they are making headlines.
Oh, they are. They are making headlines. And I have licorice spice. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Friday. Folks, I hear that some of you are having some bad air quality problems, and I'm sorry to hear that. And I hope you're all staying safe and sound and being able to keep your lungs in good shape. So I'm really sorry to hear about all the fires and smoke and stuff like that. So hopefully you're staying safe and healthy through this time. Amber, we need some kind of moral guidance. And please, please have it in the form of a fake Yelp review.
I don't know if this is going to count as moral guidance, but I'd like to give this business 0 stars, but they won't let me go lower than 1. Can you believe that my boyfriend's ex-wife, who I cheated with, will not babysit my kids for free? Yeah, don't hire her for babysitting or whatever else she does. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I think that's about covering it. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.